The Jonathan Majors situation continues to get more and more cloudy, if you will. Of course, remember, he was arrested and charged back at the end of last month. The lawyer said that she had irrefutable mountains of proof that they're going to bring it to the DA and get all the charges dropped. Charges have not been dropped. And then recently, his management company dropped him and his PR company dropped him. Then yesterday, we talked about the fact that 2 movie projects have dropped him and a Major League Baseball ad campaign he was going to be doing dropped him. Now, all the while, we wanted to clarify to everybody, listen, these companies and businesses deciding to separate themselves from him right now is not an indication of his guilt. It's not. It's just a company and a business saying, hey, you have this baggage attached to you right now. And maybe it's unfair that you have this baggage attached to you, but the reality is you do. And we got to protect our business. We can't let your baggage become our baggage and separate themselves. Now, it doesn't mean he's innocent, but I'm just saying we've been really wanting to point out that just because companies have been separating themselves from it does not necessarily mean an indication of guilt. Still, a lot of us have asked, well, where's this evidence? The lawyer kept saying that we're going to get everything dropped and blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, now, according to a report in Variety, there are now more women apparently coming forward and are cooperating with the DA. Now, it says this in the report. It says, as Jonathan Majors prepares for a May 8th court appearance on domestic violence charges, his PR problems are about to get bigger. Sources familiar with the matter tell Variety that multiple alleged abuse victims of Majors have come forward following his March arrest and are cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. The prospect of more women waiting in the wings would mark a dramatic turn in the case and comes on the heels of Majors' publicists and management firm cutting ties with the embattled actor. Earlier this week, the DA has declined comment. All right. Now, while that story was coming out, there is another story that also came out in the Los Angeles Times saying that finally, Majors' lawyer has submitted some video evidence to the court. It's probably all part of discovery so that the DA can take a look at it. Finally, now I have not seen the video myself. So you can hear about a lot of things in video. Video can have it's all about context. It's all about context. But according to the reports in the Los Angeles Times, it says that there is apparently an allegedly video of the woman that he allegedly assaulted after the alleged assault out at a nightclub where she appeared perfectly fine, that she was paying, there's security video footage of her pulling out credit cards and whatever, because apparently her hand was injured in the alleged assault, but pulling credit cards out perfectly fine. Now, again, this is all out of context. It does not necessarily mean one thing or the other. To me, it's much like when the text messages got released and a lot of people said, see there, the text messages prove he didn't do anything. Meanwhile, the other half of people are saying, those text messages look like they are clearly from somebody in an abusive relationship. But so it's all about perspective and it's all about context. But again, my question would be, if this video is quote unquote definitive, why would they not have shown this to his management company? Why would you not have shown this to his PR company? Because, I mean, listen, a PR company, their whole job is spin, right? That's what a PR company does. A PR company is about spin. Or did they show the PR company? And I am asking these as questions. These are hypotheticals. I don't have the answer to this. Did they show them to the management company and the PR company? And they both go, yeah, this doesn't prove anything. I mean, I don't know. This is all speculation, theoretical. Remember, I wasn't there at any of this. I'm just reading the reports that are in the news and trying to make some sense of it myself. But again, it gets a little bit more cloudy. Now, we haven't even discussed the fact that, there's some other people that apparently went to school with Jonathan Majors that came out on Twitter and saying, oh, he's a monster. Quite frankly, that's very distasteful to me. I don't like brave keyboard warriors jumping on social media to air their grievances when somebody else, when they see an opportunity to strike. I'm not big on that. But that's different from people going to the DA and saying, we have a story to tell and we're willing to testify. That's different from your own publicist company dropping you and all that kind of stuff. Listen, I've been very steadfast in this. I will say it again. What I hope happens is because whenever you hear that something terrible may have happened, you hope that terrible thing didn't happen. So what I hope happens here is that this is going to get in front of the DA. The DA is going to see all the evidence and the proof and go, there's clearly no crime here. That Jonathan Majors did not do anything, and that they can quickly throw this case out. If that's the case, they can quickly throw it out, and that Jonathan Majors can get back to his career. And I've heard some people say, oh, it's too late. I don't believe it's too late for 1 second. I believe that the DA comes out and says, I have looked at all the evidence. It is clear that Jonathan Majors didn't do anything. Then I think he can get back on track real quick. Like real quick. And I think this will all be forgotten fairly quickly too, if that's what happens. If not, if the DA has seen this video evidence and all this kind of stuff and still says, nah, there is still a case here to prosecute, that becomes problematic. And again, it puts the clock on Disney to make a decision to either come out and reassert their support of Jonathan Majors and say, Jonathan Majors is our king. Or it puts a clock on them to say, listen, Jonathan's got stuff to deal with, so we are moving on, and we want to introduce you to our new king, John Boyega, or whatever, right? Something along those lines. But again, this is still a story that new stuff is coming out all the time. For us as film fans, ultimately, it's about the movies that we watch and what we're going to see and what happens here and the consistency of it and all this kind of stuff. I just... God, ever since I watched Jonathan Majors in Lovecraft Country, I just knew I want to see this guy on screen for a long time because this guy's got it. There is an X factor that he has. And I'm not talking about mutants. There is an X factor that Jonathan Majors has as a performer. And you really saw it in Creed 3. And I want to be able to see all this stuff. So that's why I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that the DA comes out and says, yeah, I've looked at everything. We can all rest assured Jonathan Majors did nothing. But if not, it's going to get even stickier. Anyway, Chris, we've seen both stories now that apparently after 3.5 weeks, the lawyer finally decided to let somebody see this video. And it apparently shows one thing. We have reports coming out saying that more women are coming forward to the DA. We don't know what they're saying, so we can't really put too much into that. But anyway, you're hearing about this. What do you think? Well,
and another wrinkle's been added too, because supposedly the alleged victim also worked on Ant-Man Quantumania, which could...
I did not hear that.
That's in the Variety article. There's a just tiny little blurb. There's a one-line moment with a Disney spokesperson did not address this comment.
Oh, gosh.
Now, that could also explain why Disney has been very, very on the, defensive here of like, let's make sure we're doing stuff. Let's get this taken care of. Let's make sure we are doing actionable things, because this could potentially be tied to something else directly to them.
It could blow back on them.
Exactly.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
So that makes a little more sense to me. I do find it interesting that in Variety, it is just this tiny little throwaway thing of just like, it seems like she worked on this film.
Okay.
Interesting.
He had to meet her some way.
Exactly. But it could connect to Disney, so I understand a bit more why they are being a little bit more proactive about all of this. Majors himself has been stepping down on his own accord from other things as well during this time. He removed himself from the board of the Gotham Film Institute. He's part of the Sidney Poitier initiative that helps young filmmakers. So he is really taking a big step back as well from things that he has assigned himself to. Maybe that is to be the first person to pull that plug, right? I'm going to remove myself before you guys remove me, that sort of thing.
Well, you know what that does too? Because if he says, I'm removing myself from this Gotham Film Board, right? Then and this is a huge if the DA comes out in a few weeks and says, yeah, we're dropping all this kind of stuff, then it's not an issue for him to say, okay, now that this is behind me, I'm rejoining. If Gotham Film Board says, we're kicking you out,
exactly,
that becomes much more problematic later. Okay, that's actually really interesting.
So there are some other things happening here too. It's just, you said muddy, and I think that's the best term to describe this right now, is there's so much information, but there's not clear-cut data, if that makes sense. Yeah. Right? And we all have our own interpretations of everything that's coming out right now. And really what we need is to wait till May 8th to get those facts, right? And then we can all figure out what's going on from there.
And hopefully May 8th never comes. Well, no, May 8th comes, but hopefully,
Groundhog Day. Oh no.
hopefully this will be resolved before then. But if not, it could get even more. Guys, this is a story that continues to evolve. And from a film fan perspective, obviously there are much bigger issues here at play, but we are a film and entertainment show. So we kind of focus more on the repercussions with the film and entertainment. So we're all kind of waiting to see what Disney's going to do, what's going to happen, what is the future of the MCU, of which Kang is the face of it. Whatever you guys think about all this recent news, jump on down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Think about it. The person you were 5 years ago is not the exact person that you are today. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way that we do until we talk things through. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. And guys, striving for better mental health is something we should all aspire to. I've talked about this before, but when somebody goes to the gym, we applaud them for getting out there to improve their physical health. Well, it's about time that we start looking at mental health the same way, not just by encouraging the people around us to look into therapy, but by also taking the step to take care of our own mental health as well. So listen, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a short questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea.